I just want to start by welcoming our very next guest, who is an amazing woman who saw our vision here in Orlando, and we were blessed because she was sent back to Kansas City, Missouri, and she's bringing our vision to Kansas. As a matter of fact, she had her very first meeting today, a soft launch in Kansas, and she is so excited. And you know what? I challenge your members and you to grow to 30, and I promise you the minute you have 30 members, I will schedule a time to come out there and visit, not only with you, but I have family there, so I will look forward to making you an addition to our family. So the next guest we have today is Diane Thompson, and Diane Thompson is a life coach who is going to take the moment to kind of share with us a little bit about her goal as she coaches other people, but also how we can make the most out of what we're doing each and every day. So Diane, thank you so much for being here today. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited and privileged to be on the show with you today.
Yay! Tell me about your launch.
The launch was absolutely wonderful. We had a good group of 6 members already. Today was our first meeting, and we had 6 members walking into the room. We had 4 guests, and they're so excited about the vision. They absolutely understand that there is a different way to network, a stress-free way to network that really puts our important priorities in the right order.
That's awesome. And what did you, like when you came to East Orlando, and Melita, thank you so much for bringing Diane into our leadership team. When you came to East Orlando, what made you think, hey, WOAMTEC's different and Kansas City needs to have this experience for the women and few good men in that community?
There were a few things, Kathleen. First and foremost, the stress-free environment. There is absolutely no drama. The fact that a person's faith and family can come before their career. And beyond that, understanding that if I have a sick child at home and I need to miss a meeting and spend time with that child, that it's okay, that it's absolutely okay. And I really believe it's the collaborative attitude and the hope and the faith that's shared among the members that it truly inspired me. I knew from the moment that I walked into the room that it was a group of women that I would stay connected with for a very long time. So I'm just so excited to bring that same feeling to the Kansas City area, to my hometown.
That's wonderful, and I appreciate that very much, and we definitely consider you a huge blessing to us. Now, I know that we personally connected because I think that we think a lot alike in several different ways. You've studied a lot of people that I've studied, and we're going to be working together, hopefully, as we continue in the business realm. But tell me a little bit about what you do and the type of company that you have.
Absolutely. My company is Thought Evolution. It is a personal and professional coaching business. We help individuals and groups basically get out of their own way. We work with entrepreneurs, mainly commissioned sales professionals, who are finding themselves stuck. They've plateaued in their businesses. And generally speaking, it's because of the way that they're thinking. I love that we're a faith-based organization, and I can say, and I quote from Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is.
Amen, girlfriend.
And that is really the premise of what we teach in Thought Evolution, and that it starts with our thoughts. It starts with our self-image. And when we're getting stuck, it's generally because we're getting in our own way. So
well, what would you tell?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kathleen.
That's okay. What would you tell? And I know there's a little bit of Skype delay. What would you tell somebody who is watching today who feels like they're getting stuck? And like, what are some of the tips or steps or suggestions that you might give them for getting out of your own way?
You know, the first is to really do an assessment. And I think that you touched on that a little bit earlier. The first step is always examining, what are you thinking? Spend some time examining the negative self-talk that occurs in your day. Are you limiting your own business in the way that you're talking to yourself?
It's true.
Give yourself some affirmations. You know, I am statements are one of the most powerful things that you can do during the day to get yourself in the right mind frame, and then start being grateful. The moment that you start being grateful for what you have is the moment that you're inviting more into your life.
That is wonderful, and I think that is true. You know, what you think about, you bring about. We've all heard that a million times, but you really have to take a look at, you know, what's happening in your life, what you're saying to yourself. If you are saying to yourself, there's no way I'm going to be successful, there's no way this is going to happen, my phones aren't going to ring in December, if you make statements like that, you know, it's probably not going to happen because you're almost like willing it not to happen. Now, I know a lot of people don't reach their goals because they're afraid of success. In working with the clients that you've worked with, what are some of the steps or tools that you have implemented or that you do to help them overcome that fear?
The first thing that they have to do, and particularly when someone is afraid of success, it's understanding what part of success are they afraid of. Are they afraid of the attention that they're going to get? Are they afraid of the responsibility of the increased income that they're going to have? Are they scared that they're unable to manage their time where they currently are, knowing that when they become busier, that time management is going to become much more important? So again, it begins with assessment. We're really looking at the daily habits of that person, the thought process that they have, taking some time to do some journaling, some reflection, and then coming up with an application process to design what that looks like afterwards.
Okay, now as a life coach, what are some of the things that you do to help people's businesses? Do you do group coaching, individual coaching, online coaching? If somebody's listening to you saying, you know what, I have stinking thinking, girlfriend, and I need to fix it, you need to help me, what can I do? Because they're kind of just stuck in that rut. What do you offer them?
Thank you. Absolutely. I do individual coaching, so one-on-one coaching that will address an individual specific agenda. That can happen in person or over the phone. I hold mastermind study groups, and many professionals have heard of the mastermind concept. It's simply the coming together of two individuals in a sense of harmony and positivity, working towards the same goal. And so it's a group of individuals who come together, who study a book primarily, and share their ideas once a week in mastermind, utilizing their experiences, expertise, insights to grow the group as a whole and up the level of frequency. It's kind of like a power pack, right? If you have one battery, it has a certain charge, and if you have 6, then you have a much higher charge. So individual coaching, mastermind group studies, which are generally 6 to 8 weeks. I offer lunch and learns and online workshops as well.
Okay, so that's awesome. I know one of the most positive things out of being a WOAMTEC member that happens is you when you surround yourself with passionate, positive, professional, faithful women, you have more of a tendency they just lift you up. Like the business will come because you're building relationships and people refer people that they know, like, and trust. So the business is going to come, but women walk a little taller, stand a little prouder. When you surround yourself with an esthetician and a hairstylist and a massage therapist and someone that sells jewelry and someone that sells clothes, you just feel better about yourself because you're surrounding yourself with these powerful resources. But I think what you just said is profound, because a lot of times, some of you may have gotten your master's in business, some of you may not. Some of you may have a year worth of college, some of you may have 15 years worth of college. But all too often, we stop growing, we stop learning, and we get to a point where we become stagnant with who we are. A professor at university once said to me when I was teaching that he said, surround yourself with people that are wiser, smarter, and more successful than you, and you will always continue to grow. Surround yourself with people that aren't as wise, aren't as smart, aren't as successful, and you will always teach. And though I loved being a professor and I loved teaching, and it was 10 years that I learned a lot from, and I learned a lot more from my students than I think maybe sometimes they even learned from me, but I can tell you he was so true. And what he was trying to tell me is being a teacher and giving is something that's profound, but you can give a whole lot more if you continue to learn and continue to grow, because then you have so much more to continue to give. And I think that's what masterminding and coaching and training can do for any entrepreneur at any stage of their business, because we all can see things from different perspectives. We all can see things, in a different way that sometimes as an entrepreneur, we grow blinders, to, and we stop seeing things a certain way. So I love the fact that you're masterminding, and I hope that in Kansas City, maybe you start doing something like that with your chapter in the Kansas City chapter. But for anybody that's watching anywhere in the world, what would you say to them? Is it too late to make powerful things happen in December 2013? And what can we do to make 2014 start off strong?
So it's absolutely not too late, Kathleen, and I'm so glad that you asked me, because I see so frequently this time of year people pulling their foot off of the pedal, right? We need to remember that the holiday season really only accounts for about a week of our time, right? In the last 45 days of the year, it's not 60 to 90 days. And Darren Hardy just published an awesome article in his blog, on his success blog, regarding the fact that 20 to 40% of all annual revenue, okay, wow. 20 to 40% of all retail and e-commerce sales happens in the last 45 days of the year, okay? And if we really put that in perspective, we have a great opportunity. So it's important first to address that limiting belief, right? To address the limiting belief that people are uninterested in participating in business transactions at the end of the year.
Right.
Beyond that, as a business owner, we have to understand that our first quarter success is based on the pipeline that we have filled in the fourth quarter. So even though the harvest may not have grown, those seeds are being planted in the fourth quarter.
Okay, that's important. If you wait until January to start planting seeds, then you're not going to reap the results until February or March, and that's important. Likewise, let's talk about the opposite side of that spectrum. If things are going really well for your business, so you're pulling out advertising dollars, you're pulling out networking events, you're pulling out marketing because, oh, I'm way too busy right now. You know, things are crazy and I don't have time to network. I don't need to advertise anymore. Then you're going to not feel the results right now, but you're going to feel those same results of the lack of activity in February, March, or April. So I think that's a very, very valid point, which is great. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, the law of momentum is real. It is absolutely real. John Maxwell calls it the big mo. And the second as a business owner that you start to remove your foot from that pedal, right, and you start pulling back from that law of momentum, things don't just slow down, right? Things come to a halt. And that initial inertia of building the excitement, and not only building the excitement in your business, but maintaining your own confidence, right? When you have momentum in business, your confidence level is so much higher. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at what happens with professionals after the first of the year, there's first and foremost a letdown after the holiday season, right? We've had all of these wonderful things happening, and then we go back to work. So if people aren't working in an area that they're really passionate about, there is a letdown. They've also slowed down the momentum, and their self-confidence suffers because of it.
I think that's important. And, you know, just the way you said, they go back to work, like your whole language changed, your communication changed, because work does sound that challenging. It wasn't, they go back to work, you know, they're excited about it. Right. So you really want to make sure that you are excited about work and that you have a career that's bringing you passion. And if it's not, then, you know what, I'm a firm believer that we don't get a passion placed in our heart for nothing. Like, God puts that there for us so we can find a way to fulfill it. And if you're going through a transition or an obstacle or a change in your life where you don't feel like you're getting that personal fulfillment, it's probably happening for a reason, because you're supposed to end up someplace else. Like with Deanna, you know, maybe they were supposed to work together instead of him just working on his own and her taking care of the children. Maybe God's plan was wanting to see them work together as a couple. And sometimes we can't see that when we're in it. But if you move forward in faith, and if you know you're working on purpose, then you will eventually get there. So what would you say to somebody who doesn't know if they're living their purpose, and how important is finding it?
You know, we all have a God-given purpose, every single one of us. And I can say that 90% of the clients that I engage and work with initially will say to me, I don't know what my life's purpose is. And that's not surprising, because it's not something that we're generally taught in our school system. It's not something that we're taught to honor. And so there is a process that we go through in one-on-one coaching and through masterminds to uncover a person's purpose. And there's some strategic questions and assessments that we do to help that person uncover. And the information does not come from me. That information comes from within that individual. And what I found is that when people are working in their purpose, through their purpose, mm-hmm. they are much more passionate about what they're doing. They're much more successful where they uniquely and naturally serve. So the first question always is, where do you find yourself uniquely, passionately, and naturally serving other people? And really starting there, that's where the entire process starts. And then asking them the subsequent question, what is the vision for your life?
I think that's great. So those are two questions that I want to just reiterate. You know, where do you find yourself fulfilling that passion, and what do you vision for your life? I think that we should just end on that segment, because I think those are profound questions that if you leave this show with nothing but pondering and analyzing those two questions, it can be life-changing for you, for your family, and for your business. So, Diane, thank you so very much for being here today. Now, you are giving away a magnificent prize. I personally want to win it. Tell everybody what it is that you're giving away. And I love Think and Grow Rich. I think it's awesome. I've studied it myself. So tell us all about it.
So I mentioned mastermind studies, which are group studies. I have a mastermind study that's ramping up for the first of the year. It runs from, it starts on December 12th. It's a 6-week program, and we are going to study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So I'm giving away a seat in that mastermind. It is a 6-week commitment. We'll meet once a week for 60 to 90 minutes with like-minded professionals and really dig into those 13 success principles and how you can apply them to your plan to launch into a successful first quarter.
Okay, and I know one of the areas of specialty for you is people that are commission sales driven, and I think that that's important because when you're in commissions, it can be tough. You know, you're just moving along, trucking along, trying to reach your goals. It's a constant vicious circle. So I know you excel with people that are faced with that challenge. So the first person that goes to either the WOAMTEC Facebook page or that goes to your page, tell them, Diane, how they can get in touch with you.
They can go to www.thoughtevolutioncoaching.com or on Facebook, it's Thought Evolution.